Alright guys, today we're going to do section 2 of unit 5 and we're going to start solving systems by substitution. Now remember from our lesson yesterday, solving systems is when you have two or more lines and they intersect in one point. Okay? So, we have steps here that will help you solve them, but the first one I want to work you through it and then we'll come back and look at the steps. Okay? Alright, so what we're going to do first, and I'm going to go ahead and label the steps. What we're going to do first is we're going to take one of the equations and solve for one of the variables. So, excuse me, I'm going to pick this equation, and because x is already by itself, I'm going to solve this equation for x. I want to isolate my variable x, so the inverse of a positive 4y would be a minus 4y. So x equals 1 minus 4y. Okay? So first step is to take one of your equations and solve for one of the variables. Alright, second step is to take the other equation that you didn't use. See, I used this one to solve for one variable, so I need to take the second equation. And on this one, I'm going to substitute in for x. Alright, so I'm going to take 2, and I'm going to substitute x equals 1 minus 4y. Then I'm going to finish the rest of this equation. Minus 3y equals negative 9. Okay? Substitute in for x. And then I brought down the rest of my equation. Alright, now, we've got the variable y. We're going to solve this multi-step equation here. So, to simplify the left side, I need to distribute first. So, 2 minus 8y, bring down the rest of my equation. Combine like terms. Negative 8 minus 3 is a negative 11. So, I have 2 minus 11y equals negative 9. Subtract 2, subtract 2, negative 11y equals negative 11, divide by negative 11, divide by negative 11, so y equals 1. Okay, remember when we're solving systems, we're looking for an ordered pair. So we have our y value here. So let's go back up. Alright, so right here I'm going to put y equals 1. So, part of this was step 3 also, so I'm going to put 3 there. Alright, so step 4. Step 4 is to take the y value and pick any equation you want and substitute it in. Well, I'm going to pick the first equation. So, x plus 4y equals 1. And I'm going to substitute 1 in for y. And when I do that, I'm going to get my x value. So x is negative 3. So my solution to this system is x is negative 3, y is 1. Okay, now, one more step here. From the lesson yesterday, we checked our answer to make sure it was right. So let's check our answer on this one. Okay, so our first equation is x plus 4y equals 1. Substitute in for x and y. So I have negative 3 plus 4 times 1. Let's simplify the left side. 4 times 1 is 4. So 1 equals 1. Check. Now let's do our other equation. Our second equation is 2x minus 3y equals 9. That's a negative 9. Substitute in for x. X is negative 3. Substitute in for y. Y is 1. And then we need to simplify. So 2 times a negative 3. 3 times 1. Negative 6 minus 3 is a negative 9. Check. So then I know that this point, this ordered pair here as a solution to the systems by using substitution. All right, probably freaking you out right now, so let's go back to the steps. Here's what we did. All right, first step, solve for one variable in the equation. Well, I picked this first equation and I solved for x. Now, if I wanted to solve for y, I could, but I solved for x. If I wanted to pick this equation and solve for x or y, I could. All right? Step 1, check. Step 2, substitute the solution from this equation into the other equation. Step 2. So here's my other equation, and I substituted in for x. Step 3, solve the equation from step 2 to find the variable. All right, so step 2 and step 3 is to try to find out, step 2 is substitute in, try to find out the value of y. I get 1. Step 4, take the value of y, substitute it into either one of the equations, and find out your other value, which is x. Step 5, write it as an ordered pair and check to make sure your answer is right. Okay? So let's try another one. Okay, step 1. We need to isolate a variable, all right? I see that y is already without a coefficient, so I'm going to pick that equation. I'm going to isolate the variable y by subtracting 2x from both sides. So y equals 6 minus 2x. I cannot combine these because they're not like terms. Okay, step 1, check. Step 2, pick the equation you did not use here, which is 3x plus 2y equals 11, and substitute in for y. Okay? So I substituted in for y. Now I just have the variable x. So I need to solve this multi-step equation and find out what my x value is. So to simplify on the left side, I need to distribute first. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times a negative 2x is a negative 4x. And then bring down the right side. Combine like terms. So 3 minus 4 is a negative 1. So I have negative 1x plus 12 equals 11. Subtract 12. So negative 1x equals negative 1. So I have, let me just go right here. So then I have negative 1x divided by negative 1. And I have negative 1 divided by negative 1. So x equals 1. There's my first coordinate on my solution. Okay, so x equals 1. That was step 2 and 3. Now, step 4, I need to pick any equation. I'm going to pick the first equation. 2x plus y equals 6. And I'm going to substitute in for x because x equals 1. And I'm going to solve for y. So there's my second coordinate. Okay? So my solution is my x coordinate is 1, my y coordinate is 4. Now, let's check and make sure. So with my first equation, 2x plus y equals 6, let's substitute in. So substitute 1 in for x and 4 in for y. So 2 plus 4 is 6. Check. All right, let's check our second equation. I have 3x plus 2y equals 11. Let's substitute in for our x and y. So 3 plus 8 equals 11. Check. So I know my answer's right. Okay? All right. I'm going to need to stop this and do a part 2, so I'll see you in just a minute.